Hey, what's up guys? Cool here. Welcome to another weekly patch notes and news video. There's a large patch today, so we're going to jump right in and get started. First of all, we have a known issue. The loading screen will stay up longer than usual. This is to address issues with loading screen coming down too early and certain elements not being loaded. So that's what they have listed under the known issue. For the 64-bit client, it is back. This should be a significant reduction in client crashes, but we still have more to fix, but it is back. That's good. It says under server crashes, all known server crashes fixed. What? Yeah, let's I don't know if I believe that or not. Anyways, we got the new carbines. Start with these, and there's not a lot of information listed. There's like no stats I'm going to give you or anything like that. They've been on the test for a while, so if you've been playing the test, you know a little bit about them. And I do plan on doing reviews on all these new carbines as well as the revamped links. So anyways, we have the NCAF 4A Bandit, that's a mouthful, designed with mobility in mind. The lightweight alloys that make up Araxis firearms AF-A4 Bandit allows for faster movement while aiming without compromising on stopping power in close to medium ranges. We have the TR's HC1 Cougar. The Terran Republic's heavy carbine project resulted in the HC1 Cougar, utilizing a higher caliber cartridge than its LC cousins. The Cougar possesses unparalleled stopping power amongst the other Terran carbines, up to medium range, and this is the 167 damage carbine, I believe. And then for the VS, we have the Zenith VX-5. Vanu Labs close to mid-range Zenith VX-5 uses advanced crystalline structures to significantly reduce weight without compromising on strength. It features both precision hipfire and increased movement speed while aiming. So it looks like the NC and the VS got a weapon that has a better ADS move speed multiplier, which is cool, and I'm looking forward to getting in and checking these all out. Next, we have the straight pull bolt attachments. New attachments have been added to the bolt action sniper rifles that allow you to stay scoped while bolting the rifle. I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but in parentheses it also says apparently a few of you wanted this released. That is for sure. We have some quality of life and balance changes here. The TR's LC2 Lynx carbine has completely been revamped. Very few weapons are able to touch the Lynx's incredible rate of fire, featuring a cyclic rate of 910 rounds per minute. The LC2 Lynx tears through infantry at close to medium ranges, and I think most of you know by now it did have its damage reduced to 125, so works a little bit like a submachine gun in that regard, but you're going to have the different, you're going to have a longer drop off, before it goes, before you hit the maximum, whatever. We'll do a review on all these guns, so I'll talk more about them in depth then. Unintentionally falling short distances will no longer apply jump penalties or force a weapon out of iron sights. I'll believe that when I see it, but hopefully that is taken care of. That will be pretty cool. Lifespan of AV mana turret projectile has been reduced from 10 seconds to 4.75 seconds. This makes the maximum range of the mana turret around 450 meters. Like that change, I believe we all can agree that the mana turret is a little bit too strong. Both engineered turret models have been slightly adjusted to have tighter collision. I believe that means you'll be able to shoot them around them a little bit better. They won't have those invisible barriers. The amount of the players exposed on NC and VS anti-infantry engineered turrets now matches the TR. All ranks of TR max lockdown now deploy and undeploy faster. Deploy time reduced from 2.5 to 2 seconds. Good. Lockdown is really the worst ability between the Empire specific max abilities, so I'm glad they buffed that a little bit. Zealot Overdrive Engine, or ZOE, max rank now lowers the max's resistance to small arms fire by 5% instead of 10%. All ranks, it's 98765% reduction. Comet direct damage while under the effects of Zoe increased from 347 to 375. Max damage range increased from 10 to 15 meters. Minimum damage range increased from 50 to 85 meters. So there's a pretty big buff there if you do like using the comets in conjunction with Zoe. Knife damage has been reduced from 625 to 500. The previous damage value is compensating for the old nanoweave functionality where players could have up to 1250 health, and it's too high now that players cap out at 1000 health. So that's a big change. I believe that stops shot knifing. That's interesting. I don't know if I like that. At least I think that stops shot knifing against infiltrators, unless I'm reading that wrong, or against any class besides infiltrators, unless I'm reading that wrong. Anyways, we'll have to take note of that and have to do some testing on that. Vehicle changes. All vehicle nanite auto repair has been changed. Additional ranks no longer reduce the delay. The delay is 12 seconds across all ranks. So that's a nerf if you're using nanite auto repair, which I use as my main loadout on my Vanguard and my Lightning. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that, even though I'm not a big vehicle person. I did like using the nanite auto repair, so I'm not happy to see any nerfs there. But maybe it's justified, since there's a reason I use nanite auto repair all the time. All vehicle night vision optics, night vision adjusted to have a longer range and slightly brighter green. That's good because nobody used night vision anymore, so hopefully this will put it on par with thermal optics and make it worth using again. Flash stealth certification reduced to 4 ranks like other vehicles. The certification line has been reset and previously spent points have been refunded. The benefit at max rank for the new line remains the same as the previous max rank. Mag Rioter Mag Burner increased regeneration rate of lower ranks. Seconds required to fully regenerate from 60 down, or it goes 60, 48, 34, and 20, going down to 35, 30, 25, and 20. So no change if you actually have max rank, just changes while you're trying to rank that up. The Vanguard shield has been nerfed. Amount blocked by shield reduced from 3,000 to 2,000. Duration of shield has been normalized across all ranks to be 6 seconds. So you guys asked for a Vanguard shield nerf. It got nerfed. I can't really complain about that, even though I use Vanguard shield. I personally did feel it was stronger than the other abilities, and I think it's still going to be really good. So I'm not going to complain about that too much. And the Prowler anchored mode projectile speed is now normalized at 30% across all ranks. The Harasser, there's some changes here as well. Stock armor damage reduction increased from 37% to 39%, and that's not a big difference. But it says this mostly makes some sources of damage less spiky. Most big hitting weapons will still destroy in the same amount of hits. Stock resistances to infantry small arms increased from 80% to 82%. Again, that doesn't seem like very much, but it says with the stock armor changes, this places the resistance to this type 50% of the way back towards the pre-performance O2 values. So it's happy medium in there, even though 2% doesn't seem like a whole lot. Harasser Turbo now consumes 50% less fuel while active, allowing for a longer boost. This is the pre-performance update O2 value. I'm glad they did this. This is one of the things I hated that they nerfed about the Harasser. I could see them nerfing, the damage it's going to take, but why nerf the Turbo? And they set it back, so I'm glad. And it also says Turbo is now standard on all Harassers. So you don't need to buy it. It's a standard. The certification line exists, but as a passive bonus. So I guess you do need to buy it, but it is passive, and everybody gets it. So you can have Turbo as well as whatever else falls into that category. Some vehicle weapon tuning. The M20 Basilisk is performing too well at long ranges, so they reduce minimum damage range from 130 to 100 meters. Sunder and tank version only. The projectile speed reduced from 600 meters per second to 550, and that's on all versions. The M12 Cobalt said needs improvement to be more competitive loadout option. While certainly effective as a long-range anti-personal weapon, it gives up a lot to do so. The changes below should improve that role and make it more effective against light armor. So the minimum damage increased from 143 to 154. The minimum damage range decreased from 130 to 110. Projectile speed increased from 600 meters to 650 meters per second, and the pitch up limit increased from 65 degrees to 80 degrees, same as the Walker and the Ranger. And even though I I liked the Cobalt before. It's going to be better now. It's still going to be in that same situation where you're not going to be able to destroy heavy vehicles with. So I don't think this changes a whole lot, in my opinion. But it is better. You have more of a reason to use it against infantry now. The C-85 canister still could use improvements in the anti-personnel and anti-light armor roles. Removed cone of fire penalty. Pellet spread remains. It says, yep, we track pellet spread. Downward elevation range increased from 17 degrees to 35 degrees, 25 to 35 degrees on harassers, allowing the close range weapon to hit stuff at close range. So that was one of my biggest gripes in the Good Gunner Polished Herd was that elevation range. I'm glad they buffed that. Stock magazine size increased from 8 to 10. The following changes are intended to extend the range of two-shot kills by a few meters. Headshot multiplier increased from 1.5 to 2. Leg shot multiplier decreased from 0.9 to 0.95. Minimum damage range increased from 40 meters to 42. ESF resistance to the C-85 canister lowered from 80% to 75%. Harasser resistance to the C-85 canister lowered from 72 to 69%. So some good warranted changes there to the canister. These might require another Good Gunner Polished Herd on this weapon, so we'll see. The Sarin HRB is too effective as an anti-infantry weapon. So the blast damage has been reduced from 367 to 200. This makes it require 3 direct hits to drop non-infiltrators instead of 2. Inner blast damage radius increased from 0.5 meters to 1 meters. The Enforcer ML85, it is too strong in the anti-tank category. The below changes should bring it closer in line with other weapons like the Halberd. The magazine size reduced from 10 to 8. Reload speed increased from 3 seconds to 3.25. Ammo capacity decreased from 100 to 80. Ammo capacity per rank decreased from 10 to 8. Bit baffled by that because, well, I guess I don't use it that much. I prefer the Halberd because I can one-shot infantry with the Halberd. But maybe I was missing out the whole time. I don't know. The G30 Vulcan has been changed as well. The Vulcan is missing too many shots at 100 meters, so they increased the cone of fire sight range from 75 meters to 100 meters. The G40F Ranger needs to perform a little bit better. I can agree there. It's pretty much my least liked weapon in the game for tanks or for any vehicles. The camera and muzzle flash has been adjusted to block less of the reticle. The flak damage increased from 45 to 50, ammo capacity being increased from 490 rounds to 800 rounds, and ammo capacity per rank increased from 16 to 70. So you're going to get a lot more ammo when you're using that. The Lightning C-75 Viper, this weapon is too effective in both anti-tank and anti-personnel. Both aspects are being toned down. Direct hit reduced from 400 to 345 damage. This makes it so all heat cannons kill faster than the C-75 Viper, and that's at least, yeah, that's against infantry and tanks. The blast damage reduced from 600 to 500 damage. This reduces the radius for 2-hit kills by 0.5 meters. Can no longer one-hit kill infantry on a direct hit. That is a much-needed change. The Viper was just godly after the last time they changed it, so I'm not going to gripe about this, even though I love using it. Definitely warranted, in my opinion. The Prowler P2 120 Heat, the double barrel, is too effective against personnel. The following changes are intended to bring it more in line. The blast damage reduced from 700 to 650. The inner blast damage radius reduced from 1.5 to 1 meter. The above two changes reduce the effective 2-hit kill radius by 0.5 meters. The Prowler P2 120 HE, similar to the Heat version, the damage is a bit too high. For the HE, we are adjusting the damage. Blast damage reduced from 700 to 650. The Liberator L24R Spur, cone of fire reduced from 0.75 degrees to 0.3 degrees. Some of this stuff I'm not commenting too much on, like the Prowler and the Liberator, because I'm not that good, or I don't know that much about them. The Duster for the Liberator, they reduced the maximum cone of fire from 8 degrees to 6 degrees. I think they could do a lot more with that weapon. It's pretty pitiful, at least the times I used it. And I gave it a good half-hour run with a pretty good pilot, and I couldn't do a whole lot with it. So I think they're going to need to buff that a little bit more. The Airhammer, M14 Banshee, and AP30 Shredder. Bullet Impact FX has been updated to have small explosion to better represent that these fire explosive rounds. The N18 Needler. They increased the magazine size. Magazine size increased from 70 to 75. Ammo resupply rate increased from 140 to 150 per tick. Ammo capacity increased from 840 to 900. And ammo per rank increased from 70 to 75. The M40 Fury increased ammo resupply rate. Flash variant increased from 8 to 16. Harasser variant increased from 8 to 24. And Sunder variant increased from 8 to 32. Now there's also a very large list of infantry weapon tuning, and I am not going to read over all these because for the most part they're pretty insignificant. A lot of them are just really small things that you're probably not even going to notice, but of course I will leave the link in the description. You guys can click on this and look up any gun that you want because there are already a lot of weapons changed. There's a good 6, 7, 8 weapons for each faction that have been tweaked slightly. Some slight buffs, some slight nerfs, but I'm not going to read over all of them just because there's so many. This video is already getting so long, and most of them are pretty small. Now, there have been a few other changes we have listed under Miscellaneous, and I'll read these up real quick. The update to Reaver texture, Empire colors, and camo patterns. They fixed Reaver Viper fin skinning bug. The fin missions will once again be created if enemy population is significant in a vulnerable facility. The fin missions once again require the enemy presence to be significantly reduced before the mission will end. Capture status for the current facility will now always show when a player is in the facility area, regardless of whether that facility is the player's current mission. And they also revamped Coromed labs and surrounding area on Indar. Combat between Dahaka and Indar excavation is much more enjoyable. So that's it for the patch. There is another list of bug fixes, and like I said, there's all that stuff on the infantry weapon tuning that I'm not going to read. You guys can check that out for yourselves. This video is already getting extremely long. This is a massive patch, and you can see why they didn't try to push this out last week. The only thing I have for news is regarding the patches. They actually put up a post that I will link you in the description as well, basically saying that if they have a patch to this magnitude, if they have a patch that's not ready, they're not going to try to force it out as often as they did before, which is a really good thing. The patches have been, like I said last week, the patches have been pretty wonky or just downright bad lately. So this is good, and hopefully they stick with this and don't try to push these patches out if they are not ready. Now, as far as channel news, I don't really have anything for you guys today, other than the fact that I haven't been playing a lot of Planetside 2. I've kind of been waiting for this patch to come out, just kind of taking a little break, and it's been really slow on my channel. I've basically done the weekly news and the Killing Time with Kool-Aid, and that might continue for a couple weeks, but I do want to try and get some weapon reviews on these new weapons. So I'm going to try to do that, but they're not going to come lightning quick or anything like that. It might be over the course of the next couple weeks. So I want to apologize up front for that. Just the fact that it's, getting close to summer. I've been doing a lot of stuff outside, and I don't want to say I was getting a little burnt out on Planetside 2, but my layoff, basically allowed me to play a ton of Planetside 2 and make a ton of videos, and I needed a little break after that, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But I mean, you're still going to get at least 2 videos per week from me, and probably a third starting next week. And I do have some sniper stuff that I promised that I am working on. Just need a little bit more footage, but there's going to be some, sniper and infiltration tips videos coming out soon as well. So anyways, guys, I want to wrap this up because, like I said, it's extremely long already. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.
That poor guy.